being poly or monogamous is something that's brought up really early in a relationship. To wait 5 years to bring that up to somebody, I think is really mean. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is Jib Jab in the Queer Lab, where we read Reddit stories pertaining around relationships. This story is titled, "My Fiancé of 5 years just requested we open the relationship, and that request sent me spiraling." This is from Best of Redditor Updates. "The situation is just so strange and uncomfortable, and whenever I turn to support, I always get brushed off with, 'It's not a big deal,' or, 'Well, he just asked,' and I lack my real support or validation. I can't go to my parents, so I'm just hoping a bunch of strangers on Reddit might be able to offer more help than my social circle did so far. I, 28 female, and my fiancé John, 28 male, have been together for, as the title says, about 5 years. To understand the dilemma, I need to give you some background. We both came from very religious backgrounds, though it affected both of us differently. John became a problem child, running away, causing problems, and eventually finding a crowd his parents would not approve of. Most of the members of his group were part of the LGBTQ+, smoked pot, engaged in protests, and were either atheists or practiced different religion. Although some of the members since have left, this crowd became his current friend group. I won't go into details about each and every one of them, but the main ringleaders are Alex, 35, non-binary, and Avery, 33 male. From what I understand, they collected damaged people, as John jokingly said one day, and let them couch surf when things got rough. Alex is some sort of nepo baby, and Avery works in IT or something like that. John met them when he was 15. At first, I thought they seemed very cool and couldn't wait to meet them, since John equated their relationship to that of a child and a parent, so clearly very important people in his life. But when I finally met them, when we were 21 and in college and home for the summer break, the meeting left me a bit delusioned. Alex was catty and had snide remarks since I wasn't LGBTQ+ or anything, at most bi-curious, and Avery treated me like a child. But John said they always need to break new people in, so I tried to think positive and did my best to impress them with what I was studying and what my plans for the future are, both regarding me personally and my relationship. But the more I talked, the more they seemed to disapprove of me. Despite the strange meeting, John seemed ecstatic to see them again and gushed about how they liked me, so I kept my mouth shut and just nodded along. Now, to understand a bit deeper on who Alex and Avery are, in the town they live in, they are something like local celebrities, very spiritual. Their home is full of souvenirs they accumulated over their travels, are also married, but their definition of marriage is very different from the traditional one. Apparently they went to some tropical state and took some hallucinogens together, and in their state they proclaimed everlasting love for one another. Quite a wild concept for someone like me, but I learned to be more open-minded since I left for college. That being said, they also said they can see auras, whatever that is, and apparently love my fiancés. I don't know what they think of mine, but probably isn't much. Which brings us to the topic. I came here with last week after we got home from work. John sat me down and asked me what he thought about being polyamorous relationship. He said he loves me so much, more than is possible, and doesn't know what to do with the rest of it, thinking that it's fair to give it to someone else. I, on the other hand, don't have a limit on how much I can love him, so I said no, and that was that. However, the question has been plaguing my mind ever since. If you knew John just a fraction, you'd know he researches about things long before he actually commits to anything, any lifestyle, relationship changes, whatever. This makes me think that he has already thought about it for a while, and that also consulted Alex or Avery about this. I don't want to villainize them, but I know for a fact they're not in a monogamous relationship, and they clearly don't like me as the rest of their little group. Again, I don't want to point fingers, and I won't ask John to show me his messages with them unless I have solid proof that isn't just a gut feeling. But I just have this horrible feeling that they somehow pulled in John. There's no way he just thought about it suddenly on his own. 5 years of a relationship and the idea of non-monogamy was never brought up. And now suddenly, just as we're about to be married, he brings this up. I don't buy it one bit. But I can't just go ahead and confront them now, can I? I just don't know what to do. I feel stuck. At home, I pretend everything is fine since my group of close friends told me that I'm just overthinking, and I believe it for a while. But whenever I look at John, all I can think of is he thinks there's a cap on how much he can love me, and he wants to love someone else. I want to deal with this, but I don't know how. If I bring it up with John, he'll just brush it off as well, or he'll think I'm cheating or don't trust his friends. I worked hard to get the approval, and I know for a fact John shares everything with him. He wouldn't keep this for himself. I just hope someone here can give me pointers on how to proceed. Being poly or monogamous is something that's brought up really early in a relationship, and to wait 5 years to bring that up to somebody, I think is really mean. It probably is something that he's been thinking about for a while and for quite a bit, just kind of mulling it over in his head. And then maybe it is something that he wants to do. Maybe it's something his friends are doing and he sees how their relationships are and wants to be an active member of that. Maybe his friends are influencing him. Who knows? I think OP really needs to sit down and have a really serious conversation with their partner about the expectations of the relationship. One of the commenters says, if you don't swing that way, then end it. It'll only get worse once you're married. This is not something you can compromise on. If he wants to have passionate hugging with other people while you do not. And then OP says, God, the idea of ending our relationship is so scary. I feel like I built my entire life since leaving college around him. And if we separate, I worry I'm going to fall apart, but I understand where you're coming from. I need more time to process the reality of it all. OP posts an update. So OP says, I didn't talk about the friend group in more detail at first since I didn't think they were important, but they do like me at first. They were obviously a bit unsure since to them I was a cis white passing woman, but they warmed up to me and I'm proud to call them my friends. The only people who didn't fully accept me are Avery and Alex. And since me and John got together officially, they tend to call me the wife in this strange, almost derogatory manner. It's not important detail, but it gets on my nerves. Lastly, John is aware that opening up the relationship would lead to me being intimate physically or emotionally with other people, but he said it's a great chance for me to explore my bi side, though I haven't expressed the desire to really be with women in a committed relationship of that magnitude. We have tried to have a mature discussion, yes, but by the end, he was frustrated. He did apologize for making me feel less than, but said that my outlook on an open relationship is selfish. What it all boiled down to was that he feels he didn't have enough time to find himself before he committed to me, which is BS because he didn't show any signs of wanting more than I could offer. We were happy throughout the 5 years. I really believed I met my soulmate. I realized that since we're engaged, he seemed to talk more to his friend group and by extension Avery and Alex. Again, I don't want to paint them as cartoonish villains. They're really interesting and all, but now I want nothing more than to scratch those self-absorbed smug smiles off their faces. In the end, I demanded to see his phone, and he was shocked. We had a rule that we can see each other's phones, but we don't share passwords or anything since relationship is built on trust, and neither wanted to be in a prison guard relationship. Nevertheless, he unlocked and handed over his phone, and I searched his messages, even deleted ones, and found nothing out of the ordinary. Then I checked the call log, and guess what? Hour-long calls from Avery or Alex. I was fuming and asked him what the hell he needs to discuss with them this long, and mind you, these dated back months. John eventually caved in and admitted that it was them who brought up the idea of an open relationship, but they also talked about everything else since they're such a role model. John admitted that he started getting cold feet a while ago and needed a safe place to discuss this. I guess I, his wife-to-be, am not safe. He promised to go to couples counseling to fix all of this, his issues with marriage, the open relationship thing, the whole 9 yards, and then he'd look into emergency sessions with a therapist, that he loves me and wants nothing but to be with me. It was late, so we went to bed. Despite how messy this all sounds, I was a bit more reassured by this. I genuinely love him, even if my posts don't reflect that very well. Though many people said just to leave, I want that to be the last resort. I was willing to jump through hoops to make this work. But guess who's the idiot? This morning I woke up to an empty apartment and messages on my phone from John saying that he needs a few days to think this all over and needs space. He didn't say where he was going or when he'd come back. I called and messaged everyone I know, but no one can tell me where John is. I told him that he either comes back home in 24 hours or this is over. As you would imagine, I'm a wreck. I took the rest of the week off, and between crying sessions and staring blankly into the wall, I obsessively checked my messages in hopes someone telling me where John is. To be honest, if he's willing to put me through this, I'm not sure I want to be with him. How could you do this to someone you love? I think that's really messed up. To just come out of the blue with, hey, I want an open relationship, and then when your partner brings it up that it bothers them, promise to go to counseling, and then just disappear on them. That's really messed up on John's part. And I think OP really needs to sit down and assess the situation and really think about the relationship and where it's going, because I don't think it's going down a good road or a good place. Okay, everyone. So I want to thank you for stopping by my channel. I want to wish everybody a good, happy, and safe holiday season coming up. And I hope that you guys check out our videos, leave a like, leave a comment, let us know what you like, what you don't like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.